So we're going to start off with your data, your rules, a guide to online privacy and protection. We're going to be looking at the aspects of understanding data usage, cookies, and personal security. Brought to you by Nexus Training Experts. So, welcome. This presentation will provide you with practical insights into safeguarding your personal information online. We will cover how your data is used, the impact of cookies, and address common misconceptions about online privacy. Additionally, you'll learn effective strategies to protect your identity and personal data. So, our goal is to equip you with the knowledge needed to manage your digital footprint confidently. So, thank you for joining us, and let's get started with this presentation today. So, we're going to start off with the value of personal data. So, we're going to look at how personal data fuels the digital economy. In terms of the digital economy, this refers to businesses, organizations, advertising agencies. It varies. One of the main reasons that your data is utilized within the digital economy is targeted advertising. Companies collect data on user preferences, behaviors, and demographics to create detailed consumer profiles. This allows advertisers to deliver highly targeted ads, increasing the likelihood of engagement and conversation. It's something that all companies do, from Facebook to your favorite news website that you probably use. They need this information, and we all know about targeted ads. This is how you get a random ad appear from just a conversation that you probably had with a friend that was off the phone. But we're going to go into this a little bit more. Another aspect is product development. Businesses analyze consumer data to identify trends and preferences, guiding the development of new products and services that better meet customer needs. There's also efficiency and cost reduction. Data analytics help companies streamline operations, optimize supply chains, and reduce costs by predicting demand and managing resources more effectively. This allows businesses to actually decide whether they want to continue with a particular product or service or to discontinue. Another aspect is monetization of data. You have many companies generate revenue by selling anonymized data to third parties, such as market research firms and advertisers, further fueling economic activity. So your data is sold on, and there is an entire economy based on data. Just something to be aware of, and this is why we're having this presentation today. We'll look at, in this section, the impact of data on personalization and marketing. So, there's the element of enhanced customer experience. This is what they tell us that your data is utilized for. Personalization uses data to tailor content, recommendations, and services to individual users, creating a more engaging and relevant experience. So this could be relevant to the timelines on your favorite social media platforms and the algorithms that we usually refer to. All of this is data that has been gathered from you, designed to personalize that social media platform for you. The other element is increased customer loyalty. So the idea is, by delivering personalized experiences, companies can build stronger relationships with customers. Fostering loyalty and repeat business. Again, this is what many companies will tell you that they utilize your data for. Thirdly, the improved marketing strategies. With data-driven insights, allowing marketers to refine their strategies, targeting the right audience with the right message at the right time, leading to more effective campaigns. This is one of the main powers that marketing agencies actually have, such as Google and all the big ones. What they do is they have so much data available, the time that a certain website is utilized, the how regular maybe a user would visit that website, particular trends, peaks, and dips, and so forth. This helps with targeted ads. Certainly does. And lastly, it offers real-time adaptation. Companies can use data to adjust marketing efforts in real time, responding to consumer behavior and market changes swiftly to maximize impact. So, in conclusion, personal data serves as a vital engine for the digital economy, enabling businesses to innovate and compete by offering tailored experiences, and efficient operations is exactly what they tell us our data is utilized for. The ability to personalize marketing and services not only enhances customer satisfaction, but also drives economical growth by fostering consumer engagement and loyalty. And this is something that we see quite regular on such websites like Amazon. Amazon would like to suggest what other people are buying once you have bought a particular product. This will help you to make a better decision whether you need any additional items for that particular product that you might have bought. However, as the use of personal data becomes increasingly integral to business strategies, it is essential to balance these benefits with robust privacy protections, ensuring transparency and safeguarding consumer data are crucial steps in maintaining trust and fostering a sustainable digital economy. And it's just one of those things that companies want us to understand and accept. Our data is going to be utilized to personalize the service for us. This is the benefit that we get by giving them all our information about our gender, our location, our devices, and everything in terms of our internet usage. The idea is that this information is going to come back in our benefit, make life so much easier, and actually filter out any junk that we don't want to see on the internet. And that's practically true, but it's not the full picture. And we'll go into a bit more detail in this presentation. So, first and foremost, have you ever wondered who's using your data and how? Well, let's go into it now. You have data collectors. These data collectors include websites, advertisers, data brokers, and third-party companies. It could also be the gentleman or woman that comes and knocks on your door and asks you to fill out a survey and give them your information. Each is playing a significant role in a digital ecosystem. While some data collection is necessary for providing services and enhancing user experience, much of it occurs behind the scenes, often without our explicit knowledge or consent. So, understanding who these data collectors are and how they operate is crucial for recognizing the extent of data being gathered and the potential implications for your privacy. One thing that I do tend to say is just think about the fact that now you get a lot of, a lot of instances where you have to prove that you're not a robot. And in many of these instances, you'll just have to click a button and it verifies you that you're not a robot. Well, quite simply, it's because that browser already has plenty of data about you and your usage to determine that you are not a robot. And that's already information that's occurring in the background that you haven't necessarily had to import or consent to directly. So let's look at who's collecting your data. You have websites. Most websites track user activity through cookies and other technologies to enhance user experience and gather insights. However, be aware that even seemingly banal sites might collect more data than you realize. So you might be on a particular website that doesn't need your location because you're just reading an article. However, that website might actually decide to also collect your IP and location. And actually, you don't know that that's what they're collecting, but it's just how data works. And some websites do have this within their cookies, and it's just something to be aware of. You also have advertisers. These advertisers use data to build detailed profiles of users to deliver targeted ads. This data is often collected through partnerships with websites and social media platforms. And I'll be absolutely honest with you, the data that is collected by advertisers is usually more precise than you would ever expect, or what you would believe is acceptable. Advertisers have such a detailed profile about you that sometimes when you do request this information and you do find out what information advertisers do have on you, you'll realize they know more about you than maybe your loved ones and those that are close to you. It's pretty exceptional the type of data and profile that they have about you. And then there's data brokers. These entities buy and sell personal data, compiling information from various sources to create comprehensive profiles. Well, data brokers operate largely behind the scenes, and their activities are not always transparent to consumers. Guarantee you can't name me one data broker out there, but I guarantee that that particular data broker, probably has so much information about you that you're probably wondering, who are you and why do you have so much information? Well, they collect data, they sell your data, and that's how they make money. There's an extremely large economy for your data. Then there's also third parties. We're told about third parties within cookies, and your data might be shared with third parties. These could be survey companies, research companies, institutions, and so forth. So, as it says, with many apps and services share data with third party companies for analytics, marketing, or additional services. Always review privacy policies to understand who might have access to your data. This information is usually available, it's transparent, it's there. Companies know what they're doing. They're giving you the opportunity to do the legwork. But many people choose not to do the legwork and just click accept cookies or accept the privacy policy, whatever the data is asking them to accept. It's just something to keep in mind. So a bit of a caution, transparency issues. Data collection practices are not always clear, and users may not be fully aware of the extent of data being gathered. And I'm being honest, you might not know that they're trying to gather information about where you last ate, the last Uber Eats order you had. They probably have information about your favorite color, maybe your favorite hobby, and so forth. And sometimes, I'll be honest with you, they have information that is biological because of maybe inputs that you've had, searches that you've input, items that you have bought, and so forth. So if you're ordering medicine online and you're ordering through maybe Amazon or Boots or a website that you could buy medicine off, they know the type of medicine that you're buying. It's just one of those things to just be aware of. The element of control and consent. Users often have limited control over how their data is collected, used, despite consent mechanisms. Those consent mechanisms are just there because of laws, because of EU laws that protect consumers and individuals. But as I said, 99% of people tend not to even look at what they're consenting to. It's not something many people are aware of, and it is something that I do want to drive awareness of. But the more you're aware, the better in control you will be. So let's look at data usage. This refers to how companies and organizations utilize the personal information they collect. This data is often used for targeted advertising, where your online activities and preferences help deliver personalized ads, and profiling, which involves creating detailed consumer profiles to predict future behaviors. Additionally, your data may be sold or shared with third parties, such as data brokers, for further analysis or for further resale. So, understanding data usage is crucial for recognizing how your personal information is leveraged in the digital economy and the potential privacy implications that do occur. But however, remember, everything's being consented, everything is legally abiding because no one is breaking any laws as long as you consent. So, the question arises, how is your data being used? As previously mentioned, targeted ads. Your data is used to deliver ads tailored to your interests and behaviors, increasing the likelihood of engagement and certainly increasing the likelihood of you purchasing. While this can enhance your online experience, it also raises privacy concerns about how much advertisers know about you. So let's say, for example, you recently went onto the Halfords website and you purchased a bicycle. With this purchase of the bicycle, now you're on other websites such as maybe Gmail News or Google News, or you might be on a different website, learning about finances, or on a different website, and you come across adverts that are, for bike tubes and tire tubes and things like accessories for your bike. So these ads are targeted because Halfords shared that information, and from there onwards, now the targeted ads will start coming in. But targeted ads do go deep. Yes, there has been people suggesting that your phone is listening to you, where you might be having a conversation with your friend about, going to buy tickets, for a football match or a concert. And then, within that same day, a couple of hours later, you're already getting ads for that concert or for that football match. And how did that happen? Be honest with you, there are some instances where some companies will utilize your mic, your video, your location, and also all the other aspects to determine, what they should target towards you. So it's just something to keep in mind. This can enhance the experience, also raises privacy concerns. It is something that you should be concerned about. So let's look at the element of profiling in terms of how your data is used. Profiling, companies create detailed profiles based on your online activity, preferences, and demographics. These profiles can influence not just the ads you see, but also the content and services offered to you. There's profiles of every single one of us who has ever used the internet on a, data agencies or data brokers database. It does exist, and we belong somewhere on Google's database with our profiles of, we like cats or we like dogs. We like, our favorite cuisines and so forth. All this information is available. It even tells, data available also states where you might have lived 10 years ago, where you might have lived 5 years ago. It might even be able to predict your future. So in terms of how your data is being used, there's also data resale, which we touched on with data brokers. Personal data is often sold to other companies, including data brokers, without your explicit knowledge. This resale can lead to your data being used in ways you never intended or expected. Remember, when these companies are just stating your data will be used by third-party organizations, they're just saying third-party, which is a broad spectrum. It could be data brokers, it could be advertisers, it could be other websites. It could even be people, it could be businesses, and so forth. Your data is being resold. and also the element of surveillance and tracking. Some companies use data to monitor user activities across websites and apps, often without explicit consent, raising privacy concerns. Be cautious of apps requesting excessive permissions, as they may track your location and behavior for surveillance purposes. But hey, what we mean by surveillance purposes is that they might just be looking out for public safety, they might be looking out for particular behaviors that might be suspicious, and you might flag this up. And this is what we call flagging up. So anything that flags you up will get passed on to a particular agency or organization or government agency to continue to surveillance you. So these things do happen. Like, for example, if you're constantly watching YouTube videos about disasters, explosions, and those types of things, and you're looking for your Amazon searches is about explosions and guns, you will be, you should expect that there is going to be a level of surveillance that's going to be flagged up with your internet usage. So it's just something to keep in mind. So great, we're going to touch on understanding cookies, because how your data is gathered is usually within the cookies. First and foremost, cookies are essential components of web browsing, designed to enhance user experience and functionality. They serve various purposes, such as managing sessions, personalizing content, tracking user behavior, and facilitating authentication. Cookies can be categorized into different types, including session cookies, which are temporary and deleted after a browsing session. Then you also have persistent cookies, which remain on device for a set duration, and third-party cookies, which are often used for tracking across multiple sites. But anyways, let's get into more information about cookies. We're going to look at the purpose of cookies. First one is session management. No one really likes closing a browser by accident and having to start all over again to find that particular page that they were on and so forth. So cookies are used to manage user sessions. For example, when you log into a website, a session cookie is created to keep you logged in as you navigate through different pages. You gain another aspect of the purpose of cookies is personalization. Websites use cookies to remember user preferences and settings. This can include language preferences, theme settings, or other customizable elements of a particular website. Then we also have tracking and analytics. Cookies help websites track user behavior and gather analytics data. This information can be used to improve user experience, analyze website performance, and for targeted advertising. Just so that you know, many businesses and websites, when you visit their website, they're probably using some type of Google Analytics or something along those lines to track your usage. Sometimes in the form of data, and sometimes in the form of heat maps, and sometimes in the form of a video of you on their website. And then cookies are also used for authentication. Cookies can store authentication tokens, allowing users to stay logged in across sessions without needing to re-enter their credentials. So let's look at the types of cookies. You have session cookies. These are temporary cookies that are deleted when the browser is closed. They are used to maintain the session in that instance only. Then you have persistent cookies. These remain on users' device for a set period of time until manually deleted. Could be 7 days, could be 30 days, could be 6 months, could be up to a year. They are used for remembering login details and preferences. And then you have third-party cookies, created by domains other than the one the user is currently visiting. They are often used for tracking and advertising purposes. And as I previously mentioned, third party is quite a broad spectrum. So it could be anyone. It could be different websites, different advertising agencies, different, data brokers. We don't know who the third parties are unless we go into the privacy policy to find out exactly who the third party companies are. So you should have some level of privacy considerations. Cookies can raise privacy concerns because they can be used to track users across different websites. This has led to regulations like the General Data Protection Regulation, which is actually known as GDPR in the EU, which requires websites to obtain user consent before storing non-essential cookies. Remember, previously cookies were done automatically. Now we have to allow cookies or reject cookies. Overall, cookies play a crucial role in the modern web by enabling a more personalized and efficient browsing experience, but they also require careful handling to protect user privacy. And just so that you can still use that website and continue to use that browser without accepting cookies. You can decline and refuse cookies and still use the website to function perfectly fine. You are not required to accept cookies for you to use that website. So just remember, you can always press refuse or decline the cookies, and you can continue browsing that website without your data being shared. So it's just something to keep in mind. So let's look at how cookies track you online. So what is the tracking mechanism for cookies? Cookies are integral to tracking mechanisms that collect data about your browsing habits. When you visit a website, cookies are placed on your device to record information, such as the pages you visit, the time spent on each page, and the links you click. This is all collected within cookies. This data helps websites understand user behavior, allowing them to optimize content and improve user experience. Cookies can store unique identifiers that enable websites to recognize returning users, providing a seamless experience by remembering preferences and login details. However, this tracking can also be used to build detailed profiles of your online activities, which can be shared with advertisers and other third parties for targeted marketing and analytics purposes. So just keep that in mind. It's a crucial element. Cookies are a crucial element when it comes to the whole ecosystem of tracking users on websites, apps, and so forth. And just so that you know, even offline, even though it's more likely if you use a software offline, you're not going to be tracked, there are tools for within those softwares to still track your usage and the type of things that you're using within that application or that within that software, even whilst you're offline. And eventually, when you do go online, when you do go and request an update, that information can be downloaded by those companies. So going offline doesn't always guarantee that your information won't be tracked, but there's some instances where going offline and using tools and softwares offline, it won't track, but it's never a guarantee. So in terms of how cookies track you online, the other aspect is cross-site tracking, which involves the use of cookies to follow users across multiple websites, creating a comprehensive profile of your online behavior. Third-party cookies, often embedded in advertisements or social media plugins, are the primary tools for this type of tracking. And that sounds a little bit scary, and it is true. You'll be tracked throughout a number of websites, and that's how some advertising agencies know what to target ads to send you and so forth. So when you visit a site containing these elements, the third-party cookie is activated, allowing the entity that controls it to track your activity across any site that includes their content. This enables advertisers to gather extensive data on your interests and habits, which is then used to deliver highly targeted ads. While this can enhance the relevance and of the advertisement that's being shown to you, It also raises significant privacy concerns, as users may not be aware of the extent to which their activities are being monitored. So, just a quick caution. Profiling for manipulation. Detailed tracking can be used to create comprehensive profiles that allow for manipulation of user behavior. This can include influencing political opinions or consumer choices through targeted misinformation or persuasive content. Just keep that in mind. And also, data exploitation. Collected data can be sold to malicious entities or used in ways that exploit users, such as price discrimination, where users are shown different prices based on their browsing history or perceived ability to pay. So if you're looking at websites and you're doing credit reports, and after a while it shows that your credit rating is actually pretty low, there could be exploitations where when you do visit other websites and their prices might actually change based on the data and credit information that they have about you. So again, it can happen. And remember what I said about third-party companies. Third-party companies can also be malicious. So do keep that in mind. Then you also have the aspect of surveillance. Tracking can be used for surveillance purposes, monitoring individuals' online activities without their consent. This can lead to breaches of privacy and potential misuse of information by governments or other organizations. And then we also have the big one, which is identity theft. Tracking data can be intercepted or stolen by cyber criminals who may use it to commit identity theft or fraud. This includes accessing personal information, financial details, or login credentials. Honestly, it is a little bit scary, but your data is out there so much that if somebody really wanted to abuse and steal your identity, they could. It's not that difficult. Just so that you know, online there is a black market, or there is a dark market to say the least, where your data and information might actively be sold. It depends on who you are, where you are, if you carry any type of value, or if you have some type of access. Your data might be sold on by really bad companies and really bad people. And it's just something just to be aware of. And this happens when your data is intercepted. So let's look at managing and controlling cookies. Best thing to do is start off with your browser settings. Adjusting cookie permissions in your browser is a crucial step in managing your online privacy. Most popular browsers, such as Chrome, Firefox, and Safari, offer settings that allow you to control how cookies are handled. You can choose to block third-party cookies, which are often used for tracking across multiple sites, as we mentioned, or delete cookies automatically when you close a browser. That will prevent the persistent cookies. Additionally, browsers provide options to clear existing cookies and site data, giving you the ability to remove any unwanted tracking information. I highly recommend you go into your settings every couple of weeks and you just delete all the cookies from the last couple of days or weeks, just to keep things fresh. Customizing these settings helps limit the amount of data collected about your browsing habits, enhancing your privacy. So you could regularly review and update your browser settings, which can ensure that you maintain control over your online experience and protect your personal information quite essentially. You could also opt out, and it is an option. It completely is an option that's available to you. You do not have to opt in. Opting out of tracking is an important measure for safeguarding your privacy online. The Do Not Track feature, available in most browsers, sends a request to websites not to track your browsing activity. However, compliance with DNT is voluntarily. And not all sites honor this request. So to bolster your privacy, consider using browser extensions designed to block trackers and enhance security. Extensions like Privacy Badger or uBlock or Origin can prevent third-party trackers from collecting your data, offering a more robust solution from DNT. But just be aware that even these websites and these extensions like Privacy Badger and uBlock, they also do request your data and cookies and tracking. These tools provide greater control over who can access your information, helping you to protect your privacy as you navigate the web. So make sure you are updating these extensions and, for continued effectiveness against new tracking methods on a regular basis. A few misconceptions about cookies and privacy. So, cookies are viruses. Cookies are not viruses. They are simple text files that cannot execute code or harm your device. Cookies always infringe on privacy. While some cookies track user behavior, many are essential for basic website functionality and user convenience. So this is the little crossroad that we come at. Do you want to use the website functionally? Then accept cookies. If you don't, the website might not function as well. It just depends on the website if you trust it or not. Deleting cookies stops all tracking. So deleting cookies can reduce tracking, but other methods like fingerprinting can still track users. Remember, there's IP, there's other fingerprinting methods that can be used that does go beyond the cookies as well. So even though cookies do play a major part, there are other elements as well for tracking. Cookies store personal information. As it says, cookies typically store identifiers and preferences, not sensitive personal information like passwords or credit card numbers. That information is probably tracked elsewhere that can still also be accessible for companies, data brokers, and cyber criminals too. But in this case, majority of the time, it's just an identifier with these cookies. Not all cookies are the same. All right, so let's look at essentials of password security. Well, in this part of the presentation, we will explore the critical role passwords play in protecting your online accounts and personal information. You will learn about common mistakes that compromise password security and discover best practices for creating strong, unique passwords. We will also discuss the benefits of using password managers to safely store and manage your credentials. Additionally, we'll cover the importance of two-factor authentication as an extra layer of security. So by the end of this section, you'll be equipped with practical strategies to enhance your password security and safeguard your digital life. So let's start off with the importance of a strong password. It is your first line of defense, first and foremost. Passwords are often first line and the most crucial barrier protecting your account from unauthorized access. Then there's protection against brute force attacks. So strong passwords, which are long and complex, make it significantly harder for attackers to crack them using automated tools. And these automated tools will go through a variation of different types of passwords, probably like hundreds and thousands of them within a couple of minutes. Then there's safeguarding personal information. A strong password helps protect sensitive data such as personal details and financial information from being accessed by cyber criminals easily. It's also there for preventing account takeovers. Unique and robust passwords for each account reduce the risk of multiple accounts being compromised if one password is leaked. So the worst thing that could happen is that your password is leaked, but the worst thing on top of that could be you are compromised across multiple logins because you have been using the same password. So let's ask the question, How weak passwords jeopardize security. Vulnerability to guessing. So simple passwords like 123456 or password are easily guessed by attackers, leaving accounts exposed. Susceptibility to credential stuffing. Weak passwords reused across multiple sites can lead to widespread account breaches if one site is compromised. Remember, your data can also be leaked if another website is breached. There's the increased risk of phishing. Weak passwords can be more easily captured through phishing attacks, giving attackers access to your accounts. And lastly, the ease of social engineering. Passwords based on personal information, such as birthdays or names, can be easily deduced through social engineered tactics. So they could go through your social media profiles and then deduce a password from there as well. There is information available about you, can help cyber criminals guess your password by just looking at certain profiles, things that you've written about previously, things that you're really passionate about, and so forth. So here's a list of common passwords. I'm not going to go through them all, but if you are using any one of these passwords, just understand it's not going to protect you, unfortunately, and you are at risk of breaches. People will be guessing your passwords. And from there onwards, you will be compromised across multiple different logins in that case as well. So if your password is on this list, I will highly recommend you change it as soon as possible. So how do you do that? You want to create a strong, secure password. You want to start off with a mix of characters. So use a combination of uppercase and lowercase letters, numbers, and special symbols. This complexity makes it harder for attackers to guess or crack your password using automated tools. The moment you start to use uppercase, lowercase letters, and symbols, the hackers will have to go through millions and billions and even trillions of guesses to guess your password. And that could take them days, weeks, and months, which for them will be discouraging. Think about having sufficient length. So aim for a password that is at least 12 to 16 characters long. The longer it is, the longer it will take a cyber criminal to access and guess your password. Longer passwords are more secure because they increase the number of possible combinations, making brute force attacks more difficult. And then unpredictability is key. Try to be as unpredictable as possible. Avoid using easily guessable information such as birthdays, common words, or sequences. Instead, create passwords that are random and do not follow obvious patterns. Think about unique passwords for each account. Ensure that each of your accounts has a distinct password. This practice prevents a breach of one account from compromising others, enhancing overall security. So if you're using different platforms, different important websites, and maybe different banking apps and so forth, utilize different passwords as best as possible. You can also use password management tools. So how do they work and enhance security? Password managers are tools designed to store and manage your password securely. They work by encrypting your password database with a master password, which is the only password you need to remember. When you log in to a website, the password manager automatically fills in your credentials, saving you from having to remember multiple complex passwords, as some of you might already be using Google's password manager. This not only simplifies the login process, but also encourages the use of strong, unique passwords for each account. Password managers can generate random passwords, reducing the risk of using weak or reused passwords. Additionally, they often include features like password audits and alerts for compromised accounts, further enhancing your security by keeping your credentials safe and up to date. So there are some reputable password managers, which is what I would always recommend you use. When choosing a password manager, it's important to consider security features, ease of use, and compatibility with your devices. Some reputable options include LastPass, which offers a user-friendly interface and robust security features, and 1Password, known for its strong encryption and family sharing options. Then there's Bitwarden, Bitwarden is another excellent choice, offering open source transparency and affordability. Then there's also Dashline, which provides a comprehensive security dashboard and dark web monitoring. Each of these password managers support multiple platforms, ensuring seamless integration across your devices. They also offer features like secure password sharing and two-factor authentication, enhancing your overall security. So, evaluating these options based on your specific needs will help you select the best tool to manage your passwords effectively. And let's touch on the two-factor verification. What is it and how does it work? The two-factor verification is a security process that enhances the protection of online accounts by requiring two forms of identification before granting access. The first factor is typically something the user knows, such as a password or PIN. The second factor is something the user has, like a smartphone app that generates a time-sensitive code, or something the user is, such as a fingerprint or facial recognition. This dual layered approach significantly reduces the risk of unauthorized access, as an attacker would need both the password and the second factor to breach an account. So, this two-factor verification is widely used across various platforms including email, banking, and social media, provide an additional layer of security beyond traditional password-only systems, which is fantastic. Great, we're going to look at incognito mode and, debunk some myths as well as we go through this. So what is incognito mode? This mode, also known as private browsing, is a feature available in most web browsers that allows you to browse the internet without saving certain types of local data. So here's a breakdown of what incognito mode typically does. Browsing history. So when you browse in incognito mode, your browsing history is not saved. This means that the website you visit will not appear in your browser history list. Cookies and site data. Cookies and site data are not saved after you close the incognito window. While you are browsing, cookies may be used to maintain sessions or preferences, but they are deleted once you close the incognito session. Form data. Information you enter into forms, such as search queries or login credentials, is not saved. This means that autofill features will not have access to data entered during an incognito session. It's just something to keep in mind. There won't be no autofill, as there normally will be outside of incognito mode. So, what is incognito mode? Permissions. Any permissions you want to, any permissions you grant to websites, such as access to your location or camera, are not remembered after you close the incognito window. Extensions. By default, most extensions are disabled in incognito mode to prevent them from tracking your activity. However, you can manually enable specific extensions if needed. But now let's look at, what incognito mode does not do. Complete anonymity. Many users believe that incognito mode makes them completely anonymous online, but in reality, incognito mode does not hide your IP address or encrypt your internet traffic. Websites, ISPs, and network administrations can still track your online activities. Next is protection from tracking. Some people think that incognito mode prevents all forms of tracking. While it prevents local data storage, it does not stop websites from tracking you through other means such as IP addresses or browser fingerprinting. Also, what it does not do is security against malware. Users may assume that incognito mode protects against malware and phishing attacks. In reality, incognito mode does not provide any additional security against malicious websites or downloads. It is primarily designed for local privacy, not security. So, some limitations of private browsing. Well, internet service providers, in this case, your ISP, can still see the websites you visit and the data you transmit over the internet. Incognito mode does not encrypt your traffic or hide your browsing activity from your ISP. Employers and network administrators. If you are using a network provided by an employer or another organization, the network administrators can monitor your internet activity still. Incognito mode does not prevent them from seeing which sites you access. So beware, if you're trying to browse sensitive websites and you think you can use private browsing while you're at work, it's still going to be tracked and flagged up. The other aspect is websites visited. Websites can still track your activity through your IP address and other tracking technologies, such as browser fingerprinting. Incognito mode does not prevent websites from collecting data about your visit. When to use incognito mode. Best time to use it is when you have, a shared or public computer. When using a computer that others have access to, incognito mode prevents your browsing history, cookies, and form data from being saved, ensuring that your activities remain private. It's essential if you're using a public computer or what computer that doesn't belong to you. It's actually recommended to use a incognito mode in that case when there's multiple accounts. So if you need to log into multiple accounts on the same website, incognito mode allows you to open a separate session without logging out of your main account in the regular browser, or sometimes auto logging you in. So that's just something to keep in mind. Another aspect is researching sensitive topics. When researching topics you prefer to keep private and you don't want targeted ads for, incognito mode ensures that your search history and visited sites are not stored on your device. There's also testing website behavior. Developers and testers can use incognito mode to see how a website behaves for first-time visitors, ensuring that there's no cookies or cache that's remembered, without the influence of cached data or stored cookies. And also, avoiding personalized search results. See unbiased search results that are not influenced by your previous browsing history. Incognito mode can provide a fresh perspective. That happens sometimes where Google might give you search results that are based on maybe things that you have previously shown an interest towards, or that you're inclined towards. But in incognito mode, it has more of a neutral results, search results function that returns just a neutral aspect. Right, so let's dispel some misconceptions. First one is, I don't visit risky websites, so I'm safe. But in reality, even seemingly safe websites can be compromised or host malicious ads that can infect your device. Cyber threats can also come from phishing emails, social media, and other online interactions. Relying solely on the perceived safety of websites can lead to a false sense of security. So it's important to maintain good security practices, such as using strong passwords and keeping software updated, regardless of the sites you visit. Another myth is security software slows down my computer. But in reality, while older security software might have impacted system performances previously, modern solutions are designed to be efficient and minimally intrusive. They run in the background and use advanced techniques to detect threats without significantly affecting speed. The benefits of protecting your device from malware and other threats far outweigh any minor performance impact. Another myth is using a VPN makes you completely anonymous online. However, in reality, while a VPN can enhance your privacy by encrypting your internet traffic and masking your IP address, it does not make you completely anonymous. Websites can still track you through other means such as browser, fingerprinting, and cookies. Additionally, the VPN provider itself can potentially log your activity depending on their policies. It's important to choose a reputable VPN service and combine it with other privacy practices for better protection. Great, so let's look at some key takeaways before we wrap up. Final summary. So, understanding the intricacies of data usage, cookie management, and personal security practices is crucial in today's digital world. Being aware of how your data is collected and used empowers you to make informed decisions about your online activities. As it says, effective cookie management can help protect your privacy, while strong personal security practices such as using robust passwords and enabling two-factor authentication safeguard your personal information from from potential threats. It is still an element of you have to do some legwork to protect yourself instead of relying on other softwares, browsers, and devices to protect you. Create good passwords, long passwords, secure yourself, be conscious of the information that you're giving out, and also always be aware that information is being collected about you. And remember, you're always welcome to decline cookies. You don't always have to accept cookies to access the website or the information. Here are some action steps that you could take. Review privacy settings. So regularly check and update the privacy settings on your devices and online accounts and on the social media or websites that you use. Use strong, unique passwords. Implement a password manager to create and store complex passwords for each account. Enable two-factor authentication. Add an extra layer of security to your accounts where possible. Install security software. Ensure your devices are protected with up-to-date antivirus and anti-malware software. And lastly, be cautious with public Wi-Fi. Use a VPN when accessing the internet or public networks to protect your data. Some Wi-Fis can steal your information and your login details without you knowing. So you might go into a cafe and assume you're logging into the cafe's internet, but you might actually be logging into somebody that's sitting there and set you up with a malicious Wi-Fi, and you've logged in with that Wi-Fi. So it's just something to be cautious of. Final thoughts. Staying informed and vigilant is essential in navigating the digital landscape safely. As technology evolves, so do the methods used to compromise privacy and security. It advances every day. Continuously educating yourself about new threats and protective measures will help you maintain control over your digital footprint. Remember, your data is valuable, and taking proactive steps to protect it is an investment in your personal security. And that's it. If you would like to find out more courses that we have on our website, feel free to visit us at www.nexustrainingexperts.com. Or you can email us at info@nexustrainingexperts.com. And that's it for today. If you do have any questions, feel free to email us. If you do want to book us for presentations for a group of people, which we do because we work with businesses, organizations, schools, colleges, universities, we'll be happy to do a partnership scheme with you guys. So please feel free to get in touch. But that's it for today's presentation. I do want to thank you all for your time. Thank you very much and goodbye.